Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank my colleagues, Senator Klobuchar, Senator Wyden, Senator Rona, and so many others who've been out here speaking on behalf of women and their ability to make their own health care decisions after the disastrous decision from the Supreme Court. And it has been now almost a month since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, ended the right to abortion, and really upended health care for women across this country. And every single day, women and providers and patients have been shouting from the rooftops about how damaging this is, how women's lives are now at risk. Every single day, we are seeing the horrors caused by Republicans' oppression. Women forced to stay pregnant and give birth when they don't want to. Patients denied prescriptions that they need. A 10-year-old forced to travel across state lines to get an abortion after being raped. A woman experiencing a miscarriage left bleeding for 10 days as providers were not clear if they could treat her due to Republicans' extreme bans. And all the while, Republicans have been trying to ignore the devastation that they have caused. And even more cruelly, they have been trying to distract us, telling us that what we're seeing isn't really happening. They have tried to say it won't undermine birth control access, even as patients have been denied Plan B. They have tried to say we don't need to protect the right to travel for abortion care, even as some Republicans are already writing and introducing bills to take that right away. They have even tried to say their extreme bans won't undermine care for ectopic pregnancies or miscarriages, even as providers have already been forced to change the standard of care because Republicans' dangerous abortion bans making them perform riskier, invasive surgeries than would otherwise be necessary, or even sit on their hands until patients' vital signs drop before they can do what they know is needed to save lives. It really is unconscionable. And despite what we have heard from Republicans, it is happening right now in this country. And I know I'm not the only one who is entirely unconvinced by Republican words about wanting to support women and families. I'm skeptical when one Republican senator said, and I quote, "We have to start thinking in terms of some of these things to be more supportive of families and mothers." I'm skeptical when another one said, quote, "If it's not just a matter of saying we are pro-life, it's a matter of promoting and allowing these people who are making very difficult decisions with their lives to make sure we can help." And I was frankly surprised when just last week at a hearing that I chaired on how this Dobbs decision threatens women's health, the junior senator from Kansas claimed he believes, quote, "family planning opportunities need to be expanded." And he even promised to continue supporting robust funding. Here's the chance to match that rhetoric with action, because Senator Smith and Senator Warren and I have a bill right here that would do exactly that. In fact, it is even called the Expanding Access to Family Planning Act. I know Senator Smith cares a lot about this, and while she can't be here right now due to COVID, I want to thank her for her leadership on this and explain what this bill does for her. Mr. President, this bill is pretty simple. It almost couldn't be simpler. It takes our nation's long-standing family planning program, Title X, and provides the strong mandatory funding Title X needs now to support patients across the country. That's it. It's very easy. It's very straightforward. Now, if Republicans really mean what they're saying, if they are really serious about expanding access to family planning, there's no reason why we cannot get this done right now. After all, we're talking about a program that has a long history of bipartisan support. We're talking about a program that was signed into law by a Republican, President Nixon, way back in 1970. We're talking about a program that helps patients get the birth control they need, the STI testing, the treatment that they count on, the cervical and breast cancer screenings that could save their life, and the support they need to plan a family on their own terms. This isn't just the popular thing to do, though helping patients get birth control, they need is overwhelmingly popular thing to do. This is the right thing to do. So let's get this done. It should not be controversial. It simply expands our nation's long-standing family planning program, a program, I should note, that we included in our bipartisan funding bill earlier this year. Now, just a few months ago, some Republicans were adamantly against any increases for this program, but now, as we hear, they are changing their tune and claiming they do want to support families. They do want to expand family planning services. They want to do exactly what this bill does, unless, of course, they don't mean it. It's empty rhetoric, or just another Republican distraction from the reality that's been ushered in. So right now, Mr. President, the Republicans will have a chance to go on the record on whether they actually support family planning, whether they actually want to help people get birth control. And believe me, the same Republicans have been trying to ignore, the same people who are having their health care undermined, their lives upended, their control over their own bodies taken away, are going to be watching this closely. And they're not going to forget how much or how little Republicans' promises are worth. So, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions be discharged from further consideration of S. 4550 and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, and that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motions to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table.